Bonjour, bonjour mes amis. Aujourd'hui j'ai un replay en AMX-50. Or in good old English, hello there and welcome back to War Thunder. As you can see, for your pleasure today we have an AMX-50 replay sent in by Storaune, and he seems to be of Norwegian origin or nation, as we can see and admire the flags on the top of this French medium tank. Battle rating 7.3. AMX-50, what a tank it was when I first got my hands on it, and it was just very powerful, really fast, somewhat okayish armor, but again not really the thickest. But then there was the gun, and the combination of the firepower, the reload, and just the mobility, and that was just really great, and still is. But you know, things have changed, and I think this tank saw a significant battle rating increase. Don't get me wrong, I think it was 6.7, but at some point I'm quite sure it was 7.0, now it's 7.3, and also the repair costs increased up to 19,500 silver lines. Why is that? Well, the 1000 horsepower strong engine produces an 18.5 horsepower to ton ratio, and that is decent, right? And a top speed of 51 kilometers per hour is also nothing to scoff at. Then we also have the gun, the 100mm SA-47 L58. And we have then the 100mm AP obus de rupture, and the autoloading mechanism produces a reload every 4 seconds independent from your crew skill. Now, I've picked this replay for numerous reasons, and the title will be Little Did We See. Why? Because we have here the markers. Again, this is realistic tank battle, but this is the replay feature leaving the markers on. And then we will see constantly throughout the gameplay that we have so many markers that you might or might not see the tanks depending on your graphic settings, again because the replays then get recorded in my video quality that I have, which is 4K and practically maximum. Maybe what the tank driver in the battle sees might be a little bit different, but you'll see for yourself. So 273mm of penetration with the solid shot, and the 100mm AP obus de rupture has some really nasty shrapneling. And because you have 4-second reload, you can really go for the disabling shot if you don't outright kill the tank, like with the first victim, the Su-152. And you can see he is playing it safe in the beginning, and he goes a little bit for the flank, but not ultra wide, although the enemy team does so, and then they trade on the far flank with some of his teammates. They get spotted, you can see the markers on the minimap, and the beginning of the replay is rather slow, and throughout the gameplay we have rarely any sort of really heart-beating moments of absolute action. No, but this is more a methodical grinding down of the enemy team. Look at this, a T-114 in open fields, and we just couldn't see the tank. We clearly could see the marker, but we couldn't see the tank. And very often you can see that enemy tanks are behind bushes, trees, fences, maybe behind a little bit of a house or a rock, whatever, and you just can't see them, but they are there. And this is again one of those magic lessons. Just watch your own replays, even if you think that you just had a good game with a good result. Watch your own replays and you will see you could have been so much better. And this is a little bit of the magic of tank RP. Very often I think I make one mistake in my own tank gameplays, that I'm playing too aggressive. That's just my gaming nature, and I just really have difficulties having the sort of patience that I always pray. Like be patient, watch your surrounding, listen to your environment, and just make those little short-term ambushes. And you also can see that he tries to do more or less the same in this more or less city environment. But he also will never overextend, and this is one of those cracking qualities that I loved about this gameplay. At first glance, it might look like it is boring, and you can see we are like over 5 minutes into this gameplay, roughly a third, and he only has 1 kill. But if you constantly look at the minimap, he makes sure that he's not that easy to kill, and that he always is accompanied by one of his team members' tanks. In this case, a Jagdtiger. And this indicates, as you can see with the Tiger 2, a mixed match. So I had a little bit of mixed feelings about this game, quite literally. But, you know, this is just a reality of War Thunder, and while I often try to pick out really great examples of good gameplay, situation awareness, positioning, sometimes the more or less average game in terms of playstyle might also do. So here he steadily but carefully goes forwards. A nice thing is also that he didn't have bushes all over his tank. I rarely do this myself. And he just observes those two Tiger 2s. He sees the chance, he goes forward, and then I don't know how he got that shot off, because the Tiger was about to delete him. The Tiger 2P bounces a shot on the Jagdtiger, which has such an easy time. He just waits for the Tiger 2H's wreck to disappear, waits patiently, wreck disappears, and so does the Tiger 2P. That is obviously now the problem for the Germans, that they have a positioning German tank that they can't really deal with, at least frontally, but it has kind of the gun that can one-shot with ease a Tiger 2 through the lower glacis or through just simply the turret front. So as you can see on the minimap, there is a spawn camper near his own spawn, and he tries to go back, but he was actually killed by some of his team members. He looks around, and just by chance he gets sight on the BMP-1. And then, watch this, he actually hits the engine block, but the second shot then kills the tank by crew knockout, but it gets valued as a hull break. Whatever, Gaijin, you're the boss, I guess. And that's his third kill. One significant change that this tank received after its implementation was the rework of the reload mechanism. Before that, you just had to empty the entire clip, and then it was a brutally long reload. So Gaijin then reworked it and introduced those first stage ammo stowage. And then you can reload shell by shell if you have a little bit of a downtime, if there is not that much action, and you just wait for the shells to get back. Which, in my opinion, combined with the possibility to stay in a cap and then refill it, which in this game mode is rarely the case, I guess, it's just great. You know, it supports those autoloaders and in general tanks that rely on their first ammo rack stowage. So, the AMX-50. When I played it for the first time, it really felt rigged. It was so easy to overcome those Germans. You know, great mobility and a little bit of armor still remaining, as this T-44 just found out, and then he got deleted for his fourth kill. Bit of a lucky situation, but, you know, every little bit of skill comes from just piling up luck. That's a gamer saying. Who said it for the first time? Me. You just heard it right now. Okay, bad jokes and bad phrases aside, he just sees here not the Su-85, but we can see the marker. And again, Bush is in the way, he doesn't really observe that part of the screen. And then he sees the M26E1. He leads and one-shots him. Great shot. And this is just so satisfying when it happens. He completely gutted this American premium medium tank. Then the Jagdtiger took care of the Su-85. And then he looks at the situation. Situation is cleared. And again, as you can see, he was one of the frontline tanks, but he just held his ground. And again, little did we see. Little did we see. And I think so far, that's his ace. Well deserved. And, you know, it's like 10 minutes into the gameplay. It's a good game, but it's not really outstanding. Here we can see the situation that the Jagdtiger was taken out by a tank from the side, and I think it was a charioteer, and obviously he sees the situation at hand. The situation is unclear and he reverses. The reverse speed of this tank is not the greatest. It's like -4, -5 kilometers per hour, and this is a little bit of the French meme reversed. See what I did there? And I'm sorry, it was just too good of an opportunity. So he goes again back into cover behind this house. Now one of those problems is, where do you put your gun barrel because it's just so long. Again, this is an L58 100mm, so it's like nearly 6 meters long. That's long. So he let some teammates of him just advance and go into the unknown, and then he observes. The IS-3 just took out the Tiger 2H, which is nice. And yeah, again, back to when I played this tank for the first time. It just felt rigged. I think I named one of those videos like that, feels rigged. Because it was just so easy to just get on the flanks of, for example, the Germans, where there were not that many RE-251s around back in the days. And, you know, also the M41 and the BMP-1 were not around. And so you were down-tiered so often, and you got those big, huge maps where you could flank that easy. And then 1 shell, 2 shells, 3 shells, 1 kill, 2 kill, 3 kills. It was just so powerful. Since then, the AP fragmentation has been tuned down a little bit. I think it feels like this. But again, the repair cost of this tank. You just have to remember, this is a tank that doesn't have APDS, that doesn't have a stabilizer. So it's really the reload that makes a little bit of the difference, and the good penetration. But again, it's not heat, you know, and a lot of tanks at 6.7, for example, have also 320mm heat and hash and APHE. So what makes this tank so good? I think it's a little bit of the combination of the turret rotation speed, the reloads, and just it's not really extremely bad in any situation, right? And I think also when it comes to the battle rating, I have a theory. And this is because if you are a new player of War Thunder and you just don't know about, you know, new nations, you don't know about YouTubers, etc., what are you going for? Which nation you want to grind first? Soviet tech tree, German tech tree, American tech tree. Those are the big three, I think. Maybe the British, if you're a Tiabu. Maybe if you're really honorable, the Japanese one. But let's face it, those three set are the big ones. Nice shot here, 6th kill. And so, tanks like the Tiger II are driven by the average player. Very good, very bad, new ones, veterans. This tank, I think, was driven then by the very enthusiastic War Thunder players, the ones that really understood game mechanics, that really knew the maps, game mechanics, situation awareness, and just had a little bit of golden eagles flying around for, you know, spading the crew. And so that made the average result in this tank just simply better. Nice shot here into the comet that we first couldn't see, and then quickly finishing him off. Beautiful. A little bit of desynchronization here with the sound, sorry about this. And we are now at 7 kills. And this is the end game scenario where it is just so important to stay alive and to just make sure that you don't die, or at least to have enough spawn points. We can see the marker of the T-44-100, and it seems like Storaune just, oh boy, that was lucky. That was really, really lucky. And that was probably the action highlight of this gameplay for his 8th kill. And again, he is not really completely overextending, but he still is at the front line. And he does this frontline camping combined with constant repositioning, situation awareness, looking around him, making sure that he has his teammates covered. So you can see, this is not a gameplay that looks spectacular. This is not a gameplay that is outstanding with its performance, but it is effective. And I think this is his style. It doesn't really look like he is doing this for the first time again. So he's just chilling here. So when it comes to the French tech tree, well, you know, I recently also featured one Twitch streamer, and the thing is, you can watch the gameplay of the Leclerc. The Leclerc is the end reward, if you will, after a very long grind of so many high repair cost tanks. But it's, again, one of those min-max tanks. I don't want to say that the AMX-50 is a complete min-max tank, but it's pretty good in the firepower department, and it's really nice in the mobility. The armor is still not the world's most terrible, so this is kind of a more average tank, if you will. But maybe this kind of average is just what you need. It's not as sluggish as one of those British tanks with the either 20-pounder or with the L7 stabilized and APDS, despite their high rate of fire and also availability of hash. No, this is also not like one of those American tanks, either big fat tanks that are slow and have big guns, or you have those funny little meme machines, T114, M56, etc., that just can YOLO around the map. This tank is just too well armored to really be challenged by 20mm cannons or 50 cals effectively. It still will die to bombs and maybe some rockets. But again, it's just good enough to not be an easy target, to not be an easy prey on the way for the enemy aircraft after they have expended their bombs and rockets. So all in all, it's a really nice experience. And again, I just fail to point at what makes it really special. One point here is that he doesn't really play that aggressive and that he doesn't really push forwards. But again, it's just this over caution, you might say. But maybe this is exactly what pays off. So he sees that his teammate is in trouble and he removes the problem by a hull break. Nice shot here on the ZSU-37. And so he saved his teammate by literally having his back. And in the long run, that pays off. And now, this is the first complete true ambush. He sees the T-34-57 Mike Goes Boom's favorite seal clubber. He aims carefully and completely guts him with an overkill shot through the machine gun port for his ace, for his 10th kill. What a nice result. In fact, that's it. After this, the game is about to end and it will result in a victory for his team. So let's have a quick look at the post-battle results. And as a free-to-play player, he got for his 10 clean kills without any sort of cap or a kill assist, 47,000 silver lions and 4,300 modification research points, together with the epic awards, the heavy metal hero and the survivor, which I value a lot. And we also can see the tank is not fully upgraded, and he is in fact researching the said Leclerc. So that was a really beautiful replay. It was safely played, it was effective, and it paid off because you don't get double ace like this every single day. And also I highly value that he has attached the said result screenshots because they tell me a little bit about the player. And as you can see, he is a free-to-play player, at least at the moment. He has some golden eagles, but also what the real income is for all your effort. And there he's actually second in place because the first one, I don't know, got one kill less, one kill assist more, but died one more. Maybe some of the tank kills were done in an aircraft because the difference is quite significant. So there you have it, a very nicely played double ace and a bit of love for my French subscribers and also a little bit to the Norwegian players out there. And so I have to say one final thing at the end. If you want to send me a replay, make sure to have a look into the video description down below. And don't forget to attach the screenshots of the post-battle results, as well as tell me a little bit. Not a complete wall of text, and also not nothing, because I just won't even consider those replays. And please don't forget your replay. And that's all for it today. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like with it, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.